Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, October 10th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice right here a very narrow range that has developed over the course of the week and into last week. Right here, starting with this day right here, sideways. We have a 7-day compression right there. That 7-day compression represented here as 50% of average. 50% of average. This is 70 points, and as of the last fully complete average reading, it was 140 right there. So that's a 50% average here. Compression of that magnitude can lead to a breakout eventually with enough range to be about 170, maybe as much as 200 points of range down the road. You can see right here over the recent volatility period here, just going back kind of this far, that's 200 points right there, and anything above it is about 250 easily. On a 7-day rotation basis, we've seen it happen multiple times here on multiple waves. Again, this could easily get north of 200 points, but at least 170 points of range here up ahead. And of course, given the overall direction, it's hard not to say to the upside. But how does that play out? I think right now, this compression here, if we have 1 or 2 hard days of selling, that could lead to a pivot turnaround, and now you're extending from this level up about that 100 and 200 points. 160, 170, 100, 200 points to the upside. So kind of like we did here, maybe right there where you have a compression, you break down, and from that low you see the major compression, expansion rather. You have your compression here, you break down, there you go, to the upside. Something like that could play out yet again. Again, until we see some significant sign of selling pressure, this market continues to melt up. We continue to see strength. Bullish Pima trigger zone, but that's a lot of compression here. And by the way, NFP report taken off the schedule here for today, and again, we could stay within this compression heading into the end of the week. So 7-day compression, that means we could rally as high as yesterday's high, as low as the low 7 days ago, and still be a narrow 7-day range. We can even get outside that range. The previous session was a little bit easier. We were looking for the thrust reversal signal right here. We got the thrust reversal signal. I mentioned because that was developing, we could look at a pullback to the previous midpoint, followed by a drop into about 67.60 or so. And there we go. We got that move. Thrust reversal signal, again, one of our most powerful signals that we offer. And you're in luck here, because coming up next week, we have live training for that signal, but the pro version of that signal. It is a tremendous signal. This training, 5-day training right here, fully recorded and posted same day, but it will be live, that you can jump into the room live. And of course, this will be our training day, and these are our trading days right here, and using different times to engage the market. And of course, that Thrust Reversal Pro, a tremendous add-on to our already powerful signal. If you are a part of PivotBoss Masters, this training is absolutely included with your membership. If you're not yet a part of PivotBoss Masters, this is one of the best educational and proprietary tool offerings that you'll come across. Pay one time and you get access to an incredible library of content, including all types of training on all different and various subjects, and then you get our proprietary tools that are constantly improved and given to you at no additional cost. 100% money back guarantee as well. So take a look at pivotbossmasters.com/profits. This is the schedule for next week. Starts Monday at 3 p.m. Central. If you can't make it live, it will be posted immediately same day. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. NQ also has compression here that has played out over the last several days, but it was more of a sloping compression right here. You can see over here we're at about 69% of average range, which is still compressed. 65 or below is usually what gives us our fuchsia coloring right there. So that's when we kind of visually know this thing's compressed. But you can see very compressed price action, just a little more elongated than the ES. This one's been a bit more bullish. You can see the intensity of the trend as this thing remains mostly above that 8-period average. Very, very strong. Again, if we were to see a little bit of a pullback here Monday or into Tuesday, that could provide a great checkmark continuation into the end of the week next week. That's going to be something to watch out how we begin next week. But for today, this thing could be mostly trading range bound with an upward bias. If we get anywhere close to the previous session's low, that could provide another opportunity to bounce it back up. And if we do push through highs here, it likely isn't by a whole lot right now. So it could be very much like what we've seen here recently, just beyond, and then you keep it within range overall. So still trending up, but we need a couple of good days of volatility. We need a couple of days like this or like this early next week so that we can get the check mark move higher and get a little bit more volatility out of these narrow ranges. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. What you'll notice right here about crude is it can't keep a lead no matter what. Man, this thing goes up even just a little bit and it gets hit hard each and every time. That's something we've talked about. It's been a pattern for multiple months. It doesn't matter if it's a small move, bang. Doesn't matter if it's a big move, bang. A one-day move, multi-day move, it's going to get hit. And this thing couldn't even get through 63s. We mentioned if it can just get through 63s, it might have a little bit more upside before we jump into that seasonal cycle of selling. And we've already kind of begun that cycle. We saw a little bit of a push up, inverted check mark move down now. Here we are on the lows. This feels like a broken record and months and months and months in the making. Do we finally get that 5820 FOMC key level from May 7th? Do we finally get that level? We've been talking about that level since this rejection right there. Is it going to lead us down? And no, it didn't. And then since this range right here, is it going to lead us down? And almost no, it didn't. And over and over again. So maybe finally we get that level. But not only do we get that level, but the bottom of the range here is about 54s. So if we're breaking through 60, we still may have another 6-point drop up ahead. Okay, looking at, let's take a look here at gold. Gold is up 0.7% on a bounce back day. Yesterday, a much harder sell-off than initially anticipated. We knew we might get the pullback day, and then the holding pattern. That's something we've seen in this uptrending move, which is looking really skewed now because of the strength. But for the most part, we knew that this was a 2 to 3 day move, and once we got that move, we may pull back a bit and go sideways. Yesterday was the pullback day, and it was much more aggressive than initially anticipated here. Almost got back to the 8-period average below, bounced off the 3960s here. Inside day right here for today. Narrow range, a little bit of a bounce back day. Not super narrow range, just more compressed than what we're seeing back here, but holding the mid. That's important right now. Holding the mid. Bears keeping the mid offered for now. If bulls push through that 40-20, it opens up a little bit of upside here today. Otherwise, to hold the mid here, you're in that lower half of the range, anywhere between 39.50 and 40.20 here, and kind of stay in that range for the next, or throughout the day and into maybe next week. Again, after that little sideways compression, do we get another big push to the upside up ahead? We will see. All right, looking at the YM. The YM very compressed heading into the RTH Open here. 111 points of range. On a 7-day basis, this thing is 82% because we have a wider range of price action here, so it's not quite the same as the ES or the NQ. ES has the best structure from a compression standpoint there. But if we bring this back down to a 1-day here, you'll see how compressed today is against recent price action right here. Very, very compressed. 26% of average range right now. That's a quarter of what we've been doing. Even though we've been sideways, it's been some high range-ish price action This is a lot of high range price action in both directions. That means, you know, you're going up and then you're hitting down and then you're bouncing back, and you're seeing a lot of that day over day. So we are seeing quite a bit of price action. I would say the 8 a.m. sell-off lately has been right on the money. We've been talking about the 8 and 9 a.m. weakness, and if you look back at every single day this week, there's been an 8 a.m. sell-off. So we might see another round of that coming up here pretty soon, and if so, bears are going to be looking to keep anything between 700 and 750, maybe not even that high, but 700 and 725 offered, and you're looking at a new low here perhaps into about 400, and that'll be about a 300 point day, maybe 325 points down, and then we kind of hang out and finish the day. So that's going to be something to watch here for YM bears. YM has had the most rejections, the most selling pressure, and has had the most elongation on those moves, especially during the 8 o'clock hour Central Time and into the 9 a.m. hour. So again, watching for signs of that type of selling pressure up ahead for today. Now, looking at Bitcoin, this one's up 0.4% right now. 0.4%, and a compression, big time compression. 26% of ADR sold off away from the 125K level, and that's resistance as of right now. But really, to start breaking below 120 and really back below 118 opens up maybe a move back below. So this could stay up here a little while, but 125 becoming resistance here. Same thing for ETH. ETH here sold off hard off the 4,800 level, taken every 100 level offered since then. The big level here is if you fail at 4,300, it opens up the lower half of this range. Right now, that's the top half. The lower half is here. You fail through 4,300 and take it offered, bearish things happen. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the last day of the week. Happy Friday. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do me a big favor here. Do a thumbs up for the video here as we head into the weekend and next week's live training for PivotBoss Masters. Have a great weekend. I'll see you in the trading room.